Hey fellow YouTubers, JJ the Trucker coming to you from Commerce, Georgia, and I've got a problem. I've also got a solution. So check this out. That doesn't look right. It's all zip tied there. Why in the world is it zip tied there? Well, so here's the thing. These Peterbilts, they've got this nice long wheelbase and this catwalk and everything, but apparently the cord, the spring system isn't long enough to be able to jackknife this this truck into a really good U-turn. So, yeah, I tried to make a U-turn. It was tight, but I didn't even get the trailer jackknife. In fact, the side of the trailer, this is on the other side. You know, normally on the Freightliner, I can get it all the way up to this fairing here. No big deal. Everything reaches. It's good. I'd say the tractor was still, or the trailer was still a good portion away from this fairing, and yet I'm going down the road, and nighttime comes along. I turn on my lights, and I get a call on the CB saying, "Hey, Prime, your trailer lights aren't working." So I find a good place to pull off, nice safe place, and yeah, discover the problem. First of all, that side had been completely pulled out, and this side completely bent at a 60-degree angle. Here, let me cut these off, these zip ties off, and I will show you. Alright, hopefully the wind isn't too bad. You guys can hear me okay, but check this out. Yeah, that's pretty much how it looked. You can see that it's not straight. It was bent much further. Yeah, it was just pretty bad. Let me go ahead and pop this off here. By the way, the other side is unplugged. See? Yeah. Always make sure you unplug the other side very first before you do anything like this. So this piece right here is held in by a screw that I went ahead and removed on that night, because this thing was just completely tweaked. But this piece right here, check it out. Take this out. Okay, this piece right here is meant to be replaced because sometimes these holes just kind of get bored out a little bit, and so you can just replace this piece instead of having to replace the entire piece. Okay. However, this whole thing was tweaked out. It's pretty hard plastic, so it's not gonna bend out again, but it was bent out at a good 60-degree angle. I had to, you know, basically unscrew this back here. Okay. Push this down. And you see how that part separates. You can see the housing in there. I had to really get in with these pliers and straighten this housing out as much as I could. And even then, it never went back to fully round. I couldn't get it back into the socket there, into the trailer. So what I had to do was kind of just set it like this. All these plugs, you know, all these pins were all twisted. I had to straighten those out, get them pushed back into here. Still kind of tweaked, so they're not really sitting in here, but there we go. Get that in there. Zip tie this together. Stick it in the hole in the trailer and zip tie it all together, because this housing just would not fit in there. Oh man, it was crazy. But got it done. Went ahead and got the new tractor plug, 7-pole tractor plug. This one's metal, has the spring on the end. Much better design. I like this one. And here's what you're going to need to get this job done. You need a pair of pliers, screwdriver with probably with both Phillip head and flathead. So you got that. And you need a wire stripper. Okay. You don't need the crimper part of it, but you will need the stripper part of it. Okay. Optional is the electric tape. And if you zip tied yours like I have, you need some scissors to cut those things off. Alright, let's go ahead and get down to it. The first thing you do on this plastic one is, okay, this is already screwed in, so you're going to need to unscrew this. This basically keeps the housing secured to the cable so it doesn't slide back and forth. Once you do that, you grab that and slide it back. Take this pin off right here. Okay. Now this one is a permanent installation. This one you cannot simply unscrew or pull off. This one, the only thing you can do is cut it off. Alright, quick edit. I know this looks like a mess right now. If you've got the one that's the permanent installation, then you will also want to get some wire snips, okay, larger ones if you can, and a razor. Alright, so let's go ahead and move some of the stuff out of the way. There we go. Alright. Alright, so now I got it disconnected. You can go ahead and take the rest of the pieces off. Alright, now I made a mess of this one because I had the smaller pair of snips there. You definitely want to get the larger ones to make it easier if you're going to be doing this, if you've got that choice. Alright, so now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and strip back about a good inch or so from here. We're going to clean off these connections right here, and then we're going to strip the inside wires off as well. So we're going to need a little bit of room to do that. Okay, so this is where you want to be really careful, because you want to cut into it, but you do not want to cut too deep or too far this way. Okay, so I'm going to go about right here. Okay, and make a nice little incision, just barely. I don't even know if you can see that. You can barely even see the incision, and that's okay. You don't want it to be deep. You just want it to be. You don't even need it to go all the way through. Okay, got it all the way around. Now I'm going to cut this way, okay, to get it off of there. Look at that. Now, I know there's some electricians that are looking at me going, oh my goodness, this is terrible, terrible, terrible work. But I'm not an electrician. And this is what we got. We're working in the field at a truck stop here with tools we got at our disposal. Alright, so the reefer's going to turn on here. I'm going to pause the video and I will be back. I won't do anything without you. We're back, and as promised, didn't do anything. But yeah, I had to wait for that reefer because that thing is loud. Wouldn't be able to hear me. So this is how far we are. Now all we have to do is peel this off of here. Go. Sheeting gone. There we go. Alright, now we've got our 7 different colors. That's why they call it a 7-pole connector. We've got our 7 colors here, as you can see: green, brown, red, blue, white, black, and yellow. Alright, next thing we want to do is clean these connections, these cuts off a little bit so that we can strip the wires much better. I'm going to use this wire cutter to do that. Alright, so now we're going to want to strip these back, but we don't know how far we're going to strip these back yet. First thing we want to do is take out our brand new tractor plug, and let's find out what it says. Now back here, it's got a handy diagram. It actually shows the colors, where which color goes to which pin. So that's very handy. We're definitely going to use that. Okay. But looking at the plug, it's already put together, so we've got to take it all apart. Alright, where'd that screwdriver go? There we go. So, starting back here, Phillips head. Let's go ahead and get that loosened. Now that right there is, so I can see it in here, inside here. This is to hold this into place so that it doesn't slide. Kind of like that other screw, like this had a different system, whereas this was a compression screw this way. This screw literally just screws into the side here to keep it from moving back and forth. So we just need to unscrew that just enough to make sure that we don't see it inside here anymore. Okay. Next, we need a flathead, small flathead for this. So let's go ahead and get the small flathead out of there. And it takes two. Okay, so here's the tricky part. You don't want to lose these screws. Okay, so that's how small they are. Look at that. Look at that. Tiny. I'm going to put them in a nice safe place here. There's one. There's the other. There we go. Now, voila, that pops out. And unlike the other system, this you can actually screw directly into them, so you can replace the system without having to cut that big old wire next time. Not only do you have the color code right here in case you need it, it's also right there. So check that out. Let me take off that. Come on, there we go. So you can see we've got blue in the middle here. We've got brown. What is that? Green, red, yellow, black, and the white. It's not labeled here, but the white goes there. That's the largest pin. Makes it pretty obvious. Can't miss it. All right. So let's go ahead and see. This takes either small Phillips or flathead. So I'm going to go ahead and take out. And you're not going to take it all the way out. You're just going to unscrew it enough. All right. See that? Unscrew it enough to where the wire will go all the way in, and you can kind of see how deep it is. It's not very deep. I'd say 1/4 of an inch, if that. So let's go ahead and strip these things down, shall we? Okay. All right. So I'm not entirely sure of the gauge of this wire, so I'm going to start with the 10 gauge. Okay, that is the largest of them. The lower the number, the thicker it is. The higher the number, the thinner it is. Okay, so you can go about that far. Start with 10. Just crimp down on it. Put your thumb there. Boom! Oh, look at that. That was perfect. Took off all the insulation, left the wiring. Let's twist it like so. I'm just going to test it out. I'm not going to secure it yet. I'm just going to test it out and make sure I got enough. And yeah, that is perfect. I could maybe go a little bit more on the rest of them, but yeah, this will definitely work. All right, so let's go ahead and do that to all of them. Sorry if I keep going out of frame here. Okay, so yeah, the red one was a little thicker, I mentioned that, and the blue one is too. So the black one, I'm going to try at 12 gauge. It's a little thinner than that. Let's go with 14 gauge. There we go. There we go. One stray strand there. Let's go ahead and cut that off. Don't need that getting in the way. Alright, there we go. Now let's go ahead and start putting this all together, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and undo the screws on all of these. Again, don't unscrew it all the way. You don't want this screw to drop down in there, that's for sure. Just enough to where you can see the whole hole. And the reefer's going to start again. Yay! Alright, I will finish doing this while the reefer's going. Welcome back. Alright, so I did do a couple of small things while we were paused. Number one, I went ahead and wrapped this up, okay, because we're not quite ready. Oh, and I also, of course, as I mentioned, undo the screws, but we're not ready to screw these things in yet, okay, not quite yet. I wrapped these up. I also did a little bit of a little quick measurement on the housing, putting that right there and where these wires would go, okay. I found out I was able to move this sheathing down just a smidge, so I cut, you know, it was up to here. I cut a little bit of that sheathing off so that we've got more room to play with the wires to get them in here, okay? So, I also checked this out, right? This screw right here, found out isn't going to be pressing directly up against the sheathing. So I was looking in here, and if you can see, there's a piece in there. I'm like, how are the wires going to get through that? This is actually holding that piece. So, take my screwdriver, now that this piece is loosened, take the screwdriver, and see if you can see that in there, and boom. There you go. So now that that's out of the way, okay, I wrap this up so that we can get this cleanly and smoothly in here without, you know, fraying everything. Fitting, this has to be loosened up just a little more. And there we go. Voila. I'm going to tighten this down just a smidge, not to tighten this up, but just to make sure that screw doesn't come out. Alright, so now we're through. We can go ahead and undo our handiwork here. Start with the white. Now this is going to be a tight fit. That's really thick there. That hole, I don't think that's going to be quite enough, so I'm going to have to really compress this down. To do that, you just take your pliers. Instead of doing it with your fingers, you're going to do it with your pliers. Carefully, just push them all together. Didn't seem like it helped much, but once you do that and then you twist it again with your hand to get all the excess ones smoothed out, it should help out. And let's see. There we go. Fits right in there. Okay. And tighten that screw down. And I want to get this nice and tight. Okay, and there we go. It is okay that it's sticking out a little bit. That's why I got the electric tape, because we're going to be taping around this as well. So there you go. That is in there. All right. Next color up here is brown. Let's go ahead and take care of brown. I'd at one point come up with comments saying, what can brown do for you? But I can't say that now because I think it's probably, you know, trademarked and all that, and I don't want, you know, some other company that may or may not have that trademark to come after me for my revenue. No. So I'm not going to say it. Okay. All right, next color right here, it says green. Green is always good. Unless it's the color of your truck. I'm kidding. I know there's a lot of people that like that green, that lime green. I'm not a fan. All right, so check this out. See, I've got 2 strands here that are coming out, and it can make contact with that and cause a short. We do not want that, so we've got to clean that up. Do not want any strays that are going to cause any problems. There we go. Whew. So you're trying to hold on to all this. Screw it down. Not an easy task, but you can do it. Well, next we have got red. Red was the first one I cut. Not sure if I cut it deep enough, but I think so. Based on the other ones, probably going to be fine. Yeah, I'd like that to be just a little bit more. Now, I don't want to cut this much more off of it, if you can see how much I'm cutting, but as you crimp and pull, it's going to pull the insulation up a little bit, so you're actually not going to get as much as you think. Come on. Let's go down 1 notch here. Go. Goes right here. Gonna double check it. Yep, it says red. And got all the strands in there. Looks good. Alright, let's see what's next. Let's go over on this side. You know, I should probably get the one in the middle before I can't get to it anymore, and that's the blue one. In hindsight, if you're doing this now after watching this, maybe start with the blue. It might be a little better. Or at least white and then blue. Alright, so we are all good. Now this is not required, but what I like to do when I'm working with this kind of stuff, anytime there's anything left that's exposed, I'm going to go ahead and wrap some electrical tape around this thing. Not too much around here because we still need it to fit inside the housing. Alright, just enough to get that seal. Sorry if I'm out of frame again. Now in this area you can go a little more crazy. Okay. All the way to the main insulation, make sure you got a good seal there. there we go. Almost done. Let's go ahead and slide this on now. This has a groove in it to match up with that. That way you know you're putting the plug in correctly. All right. Push that down until it is flush. Good. Now, these little things. Remember these? Yeah, gotta be careful with these. I'd like to show you guys, but I don't want to lose these either. Man, gotta get them by the fingertip. Get them started. There we go. Yeah, let's not lose that again. Get your flathead. Get it in there until it's nice and flush. You can see it's nice and flush. Alright, I'm going to do the same on the other side. And barely get it by the little fingertip there. And screw that in. I can't see the screen and what I'm doing at the same time, so hopefully this is a good shot. Okay, a little bit more right there. All right, nice and flush, and here comes the reefer again. All right, I'm going to tighten this down while the reefer is running, and then we're going to check this thing out, all right? I went ahead and got that thing all tightened down. It looks nice. I'm going to test this out in a minute, but before we do that, something very important that we need to do. Remember I cut in and said we need one more thing. We need a plastic bag. Well, why? Why? Because even though we did our own repair, doesn't mean we have to be super truckers about it. We all go to places, get shopping bags, reuse, recycle, etc. Throw all your stuff in the plastic bag or trash bag, whatever you prefer to use. Don't just throw it on the ground. Please keep America beautiful. We don't need any more crying Native Americans on TV. Just don't need that. If you get that reference, whew, yeah, please make sure you comment. All right, this will go in an actual trash can where it belongs. All right, so now we are ready. We're ready to test this thing out to see if it actually works. All right, let's go. All right, first thing we're going to do is reconnect it back here. All right, so far so good. I don't see any sparks. I don't hear any buzzing or anything I shouldn't. All right, next thing we're going to do. Now my lights are off, by the way, right now. I'm going to go ahead and connect it in here. Make sure we get the proper side up. I'm try and do this one-handed. Oh yeah, fun times doing these things one-handed. Yeah, I need that GoPro. Keep watching my videos, keep subscribing. I'll get a GoPro, I promise. There we go. Oh, that was a good sign. I heard the trailer click on. Again, no sparks, no smoke. Everything sounds good. It's nice and snug. All right, are we ready for the moment of truth here? Let's do this. I've got my handy dandy clicker, which has the light test feature. So this light test feature, by the way, really cool. Let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, so it's testing out the blinkers. Obviously, this has nothing to do with what we just did, but I do want to show off this light test. There we go. We got our brights and our DLRs. All right. Running lights. Let's go back here to the markers. Look at that. I see a marker flashing. That's a good sign. That should go solid here in a moment. There we go. So far so good. There we go. We got our back marker light here on the side. Oh, look at that. Let there be light. There we go. We got our flashers are working. Brake lights are working. We're going to do one more test. There we go. Brake lights. Markers up there working. Alright, we got, yep, flashing. Let's make sure it goes solid. There we go. Alright, so far good, so good. Well, there's one more test. That's great for testing the four ways, but you know, the blinker and the left blinker are on two separate wires. You know, I'm pretty darn sure I didn't get them crossed up, but you know what? We're testing it out. Let's go ahead and check it. All right, so I turned the light test off. And go ahead and turn the blinker on. This is, of course, my left blinker. And you can see there that it's working. Haha, look at that. We got the correct one. Go figure. And just to be thorough, because I know that if I'm not, I'm going to get all the comments about it. Well, you should have checked the other one too, just to be sure. And you're right, you know. You never know. So let's go ahead and do that. Boom. Okay. Alright. I see a good scent already. Look at that. Let's go around to the back. Oh, wow. Is that not perfect? All right, so, oh, look at that. Here we go. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was either entertaining for you, for your curious types, or it helped you with a similar problem, or it's the exact same problem. If you did like this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. That would mean a whole lot to me. And please share this video with anybody and everybody you know. That would really mean a lot as well. And if you haven't subscribed to me yet, why not? Well, come on, click on my face. Click on my face. You see it right there in the middle. Click on it, see what happens. Click on my face, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video, which, by the way, is right there in the corner. Top corner, bottom corner, you see them. Click on them, enjoy them. See you guys later.